the mosque, with the Qibla wall.
Yes.
It doesn't point to Mecca. It goes north.
How far?
It goes into the direction of probably what Dan Gibson said, towards Petra.
Okay, I'm going to surprise you.
Yeah.
There's an authentic hadith from the Prophet.
Yeah.
That, for argument's sake, if the Qibla is north, you are able to face anywhere from where east and west begins towards north.
Right.
So if Mecca is here, I could be facing this way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But guess what?
You've heard of Shabir.
There's a degree. Guess what? Can I finish?
Shabir Ali.
Can I finish?
After you.
Yes.
After you, sir.
How many degrees are there? 300 and what?
360.
And what's half of that?
180.
180. Right. So you will be from 180. Towards north, allowed.
Okay.
And you know why?
Yeah.
Number one, the reason why the Islamic nation became so proficient in the sciences and astrology
and map making
and the astrolabe and these devices is because they wanted to narrow down the Qibla as much as possible.
Yes.
Okay, but at that time, that took a couple of centuries for them to reach something, somewhat equivalent. That's why God, with His wisdom, gave us the leniency of 180 degrees. Not only that, even if ourselves, which way is the Qibla? Well, we think it's this way, so we can pray that way. And thirdly, in Islamic law, if you guesstimate where the Qibla is, and you pray and you pray and you pray, and then you come along, or Dawood comes along with a compass and say, you know what?
That was the wrong
the Qibla is actually opposite. God would still accept your prayers because your intention was correct.
I'm glad to hear that.
So let me just finish. If you go to Islamic Spain, okay, you would see the Qibla facing South Morocco. Facing Morocco, just south.
Yes.
But using the Islamic jurisprudence through the Prophet and from God, they had the leeway from here to where Mecca is, and they went that way. It's still valid.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. But I think according to Dr. Shabir Ali,
I saw a video.
He doesn't. He has a less tolerance. It's not 180.
Who's Shabir Ali?
He's a Canadian.
No, with all due respect,
Shabir
he's not an Islamic scholar. I love you, by the way, Shabir Ali. No,
Dr. Shabir Ali. Yeah.
In what? Doctor in what?
He's in Islamic studies.
Seriously?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
What
Islamic studies.
Yes.
What does he say?
And you can Google him.
I've seen the video before.
Not biblical studies.
He's actually the leader of Muslims in Canada.
Yeah.
He's one of the.
Do you know who I follow?
You go on.
I follow the Prophet.
Right.
Not Shabir Ali.
Yeah.
And I think Shabir Ali would agree with me.
Yeah.
Well, what did he say?
He said the tolerance wasn't 180 degrees. He had a narrower field.
You don't remember?
I don't. I would say I don't. But if you come here.
But I guess the principle kind of remains that there is a tolerance.
Yeah. But what is is that these earlier mosques before the caliphate of after Ottoman, when Alexandria was raided and everything, so I'm going back maybe about 300 years after the death of the Prophet. Possibly,
Because Alexander the Great is before that.
No, but I'm talking about the city,
Alexandria, the city.
Yeah. That was part of the Muslim Empire.
Yeah.
So then I forget the name. I'll have to look it up.
Yes.
But it was one caliphate who had taken the black stone and had destroyed the Kaaba. Do you know his name?
Yeah.
They weren't a caliphate. They were
a third or fourth caliphate.
Insurgents.
They were a renegade.
Renegades, yeah.
Right.
Heretical sect.
Yeah.
The Khawarij.
From the
north. But do you know they brought the black stone to Mecca? They were the ones who brought it to Mecca and built the Kaaba.
No, they stole it.
They stole it from there.
They stole it, and after about 80 years, it was retrieved and brought back. And when they brought it back, it was in pieces. And then it was put together
into a mold.
Right.
Yeah. So they stole it.
Right.
They're from Bahrain,
Bahrain, yeah.
Okay.
The bigger the Q. Kahanites or something like that.
So anyway, the point I was going to make that if you go to the earlier mosques, you know, they all seem to be pointing at a certain place, and they're quite accurate with that.
Yeah.
So it's not just 180 degrees out.
Yeah.
They're all pointing to the north of Mecca.
Yeah.
You know, just like the ones in Spain are pointing in a
You know what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
to Medina to Mecca.
You know what it is, isn't it?
You know.
They didn't have GPS back then.
There was a methodology applied.
I agree. Yeah. And then
but
you know, people were still navigating. You know, I think some of the tribes are probably navigating. You know, from the stars. You know?
But it was also an approximate.
And also before you know, before the GPS and all that, people use sextants, and even before the sextants, they use the the stars.
I said that astronaut.
Yeah.
That Muslims invented the astronaut. But the reason why they didn't mind is because Abu Hurairah reported the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "This is whilst they're in Medina." Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Whatever is between the east and west is a direction of prayer.
Right.
And it's found in Al-Tirmidhi.
Yeah.
That's like the Christian one. I mean, I can pray to God anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't need to point in any direction. In my soul, I can close my eyes and pray to Him anywhere, anytime, and that's what I do.
Generally speaking,
I don't have to, you know, get.
Generally speaking, there are verses in the Quran that talk about this. And Surah Baqarah 177.
Right.
Let me show you. It's a very interesting one. This is, I think, by far my most favorite one.
Right.
Or amongst the most favorite one. And I'll read it to you. It's a very beautiful ayah. Talks about this. Let me show you. Okay, it says, righteousness, Bismillah. Righteousness is not that you turn your face towards the east or the west.
Correct, absolutely.
But true righteousness is in the one who believes in Allah, the last day, the angels, the book, and the prophets. It gives wealth in spite of love for it to the relatives, the orphans, the needy, the traveler.
Absolutely.
Those who ask for help.
Absolutely.
Freeing slaves. And who establish prayer and give zakah, fulfill their promise, and when they promise, those who are patient in poverty and hardship.
Right.
So this is God.
That's the spirit.
Generally speaking, However, there was a function, and there is a practical reason why Muslims face the East.
Right.
It's many reasons. One of them is sense of unity, sense of uniformity, sense of like direction.
Yes.
Humans are material beings.
Yes.
I do appreciate you, sir. I think you're a lovely person, the way you behaved. And
I mean, at the end of the day, there's only one God, so we are all brothers in that sense. There's only one God.
You know. But I also was very interested in one thing you said, which was amazing. You said you made a category. You said that the Old Testament was written by man, and inspired by God, and revealed by God. But at the end of the day, it was written, you know, in ancient Hebrew or whatever it is. You know, it was written by man. So because man has got his hands on it, it's likely to be, it's likely to have mistakes. And you felt a bit like that. You feel like the
that
Quran
is correct. That it's inspired and revealed by God. But at the end of the day, it has to be written by man. And as you know, the Muslims believe that it was for a long time, for many decades, many centuries, it was kept in person's memory and recited. That's true. And so it was only probably people started writing down, you know, many decades after.
So it depends, because there was people who were writing things down, even during the lifetime of the Prophet, and there was people who were memorized. However, you are right in saying that the early scholars pride themselves in memorizing things versus writing things down because of cultural reasons. Because the Arabs were very known to memorize things by rote. They memorize ancestral, what's it called? Family trees, and poetry was a very big thing.
More like it.
And oral
say something.
An oral tradition, just like in Africa, oral tradition is something that most ancient societies were engaged in.
Well, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. David A. King. He's a British American historian. He's the Professor Dr. David A. King.
Do you have paper? Okay.
Professor of Near Eastern Languages and Literature and History of Science at New York University.
New York?
New York University. An abstract. In 2017, Dr. David A. King self-published a series of articles beginning with From Petra Back to Mecca, From Qibla Back to Qibla. He's taking the mic here.
Right.
As a direct critique of Dan Gibson's book, Early Islamic Qiblas.
Right.
Donald takes the time to trace through King's arguments, and that's it.
Right.
Read this professor's rebuttal of the non-professor, Dan Gibson.
Right.
So the professor of Northeastern is debunking the pseudo-professor Dan Gibson.
Yes.
Look into it.
I've got his name, and I take it he's
Inshallah.
He's American, yeah?
British, but he's a professor of Near Eastern languages and history. Near Eastern means Middle East.
Idris, and
Thank you very much.
I'll greet you in your greeting, Masalam.
Salama. Thank you for your time, Francis.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to say this was, mashallah, Idris, a long time brother here who helped out a lot. Bless bro, may Allah bless you. And I think the brother, the man, the gentleman, I feel this was the classic case of listen to charlatan whilst trying to be sincere. Because I think when you mentioned Professor King, he wrote it down. I've never seen that before, that people write things so. So I feel like he was sincere. It's just that he was a bit misguided by like Dan Gibson. Anyway, brothers and sisters, please continue to support this this initiative. And as you can see, there's so many people here that are continuously defending Islam, propagating Islam, promoting Islam, and discussing with people. And this is a blessing. In order for this to continue, to help all the brothers here that have organizations that are attached to Speakers Corner. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. You know, I can always